Hello! Welcome to Gabie's Knit Goodies. I am Gabie and this is where I talk about all of my knitting adventures, sometimes a little bit of crochet, and my yarn as well. You can find me on Instagram at Gabie's Knit Goodies, as well as on Ravelry, and then on Etsy I have my hand-dyed yarn up there at Gabie's Knit Goodies. So, I am glad to have you guys here and to share with you what I am wearing along with all of my whips, and yeah, primarily whips. I have a couple of new ones today though to share, so that's exciting, and some progress. So what I am wearing, this is the Misurina top by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks, and I knit this maybe a year ago or so, maybe 2 years ago now. I don't know. It's a t-shirt pattern, and I think I may have modified the shirt sleeves to make it shorter due to my lack of yarn, but I really love this top. I love the color work and that it has a little bit of cables and like lace work throughout, and I knit it out of a Barocco yarn that has, I think, maybe some like baby alpaca in there, as well as some other like really soft fibers. So yeah, I really love this top. I have worn it a good bit, and now that fall is just starting to come, it's kind of the perfect weather for it. Once it turns colder, I can wear a long sleeve shirt under it, but right now this is kind of the perfect top for these like mid 60s degree weather days Fahrenheit. Yeah, so I was so excited. I did go digging through my sweaters this morning when I realized it was going to be cool enough to wear one, and I realized I have a number of Caitlin Hunter Boyland Knitwork tops, and so I was considering making like a video kind of compiling all of those tops I have knit and talking about which ones I knit or I wore the most, and different things like that. If y'all are interested, let me know. I think that would be kind of a fun video, because I've knit at least a half a dozen of the Caitlin Hunter patterns. Maybe more than that. I like her style, what can I say? But this top I really love. If you want to see more of it, I do have a video on it. I will try to be good and like make a card, or at least link the video down below. Or at the end of the video, I think I can do like one of those little rectangle clicking things at the end of the video. Anyways, so Misurina, Caitlin Hunter, yarn is Barocco. And behind me, I have a beautiful throw. I've had it on here a couple of times because I use it a good bit in this chair. But this is the Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart, knit out of mini skeins and micro skeins and leftovers. All Gabie's Knit Goodies yarn, and I have a mixture in here of like merino nylon fingering weight as well as some mohair. And when I talked a little more about this in a different video, I ended up getting a little bit bored with this. Even though I really enjoyed it, I got bored at times, and then when I started adding in this mohair, for some reason that really like, I don't know, added excitement to it, I guess. So it adds these like little sheer sections, and it just added some extra fun to it. But it's all garter stitch with some little lace holes in there. Pretty simple and very easy to like modify if you wanted it bigger, or just different yarns or whatever. Yeah. So that's that. And now to get into what I've been knitting, I think I'm going to start with my new things, because that's always exciting. I was at a point in my socks the other day where I'm on the heel, and I was going, we went to the state fair on Friday. And so I knew I needed like a pocketbook knitting to bring with me that was, yeah, that was just small and easy to bring with me. My other one, it was at the heel. I could have still brought it with me, except I was almost out of that yarn. So I decided to cast on something new, of course. I had leftover Ocean Cliffs yarn, fingering weight yarn. This is, like I said, it's called Ocean Cliffs, and it's in my shop, and it's primarily like a bold, not really a forest green, more of a aqua green. Yeah, aqua green, that makes sense. And then it has some white in there and browns. And I was going to cast on socks, but I decided that these would make great little fingerless mittens. I was inspired by some other podcast, I think, as she was making fingerless mittens, and it made me want to cast some on. So that's what I decided to do. And these are the Pioneer gloves. Pretty sure it's the Pioneer gloves. And I will put the designer, because I can't remember the name of the pattern here, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's meant for fingering weight yarn. And I'm making the shorty ones. I have just over 50 grams left of this yarn. And so you cast on at the bottom here, and you knit a little bit, and then you're doing like a 3x2 ribbing. But the pretty part of these, I can't try it all the way on because I have the thumb stitches on waste yarn, so you can't quite see it all. But the cool part, and it keeps wanting to focus on my face, so I hope it gets the mittens, is the thumb gusset. It's on one side, and it makes this really pretty angle here with the ribbing. Hopefully you guys can see that all right. I think it's cute. And yeah, I really like just this little shape here. And so I cast them on, and I have already done this one, and like I said, it's intentionally just a little shorty fingerless mitten, and it does have a spot for my thumb. I just have it on, I didn't have any waste yarn at the time when I was out, and so I put it on like a little bulb fastener, safety pin, so I can't stick my thumb through there. But they're very cute and very soft, and I thought that the ribbing would be good because they would fit whether I kept them for myself or I gave them to like my daughter. They look so tiny, but they really do stretch out quite easily. So I like it. And I don't know why, they've been very fun to knit on, so I've just been rolling with them. It's only been maybe 2 days, and I haven't knit exclusively on these, just when I've been out. So I have the second one already cast on, because when I finished this one, other than the thumb, I wasn't in a place where I could pick up the stitches and do the thumb, so I just cast on the second one, and I figure I'll do the thumbs after I finish this one. So yeah, this is fun, and it's a new cast on, which is always fun. Next cast on, I actually cast this on a little while ago, but I don't know if I've ever shown it here on the podcast, and I haven't finished it. This is a hat, and it's been in a bag, kind of all bunched up. So my yarn's kind of tangled up. Anyways, this is a basic beginner hat. I actually created this pattern for last year's, or a couple years ago when I did a knitting class for adults. And then I was looking for equipment for my knitting class this year. I am teaching kids as well as adults. And I actually have 2 classes, so it is great fun. But I wanted to both try my hat pattern out again, as well as have a sample for them, and to test out some inexpensive knitting needles, which they're not perfect, but I think they will totally work because of like the number and quantity of people I have, as well as the fact that I really wanted to give them a variety of sizes, because everyone's gauge is different, especially when you're first learning. Some people are very tight and some people are very loose. And if I bought everybody the same size, fairly expensive needles and didn't have any more money to buy anything else, then they would kind of be stuck. Whereas with these, they kind of have this plastic tubey cord. They seem to be pretty sturdy on here. Their ends are not super sharp, but good enough for the chunkier yarn we're going to be using. And yeah, so it totally works, and I think that brand new beginners will be just fine with these needles. Yeah. So this is like I said, a beginner hat pattern that I developed, and this is being knit out of a Nancy in the Moss Covered Rock in, I think this might be my Aran weight. It's either worsted weight or Aran weight yarn, and it is a light green with little black specks, and the green is tonal. And A Nancy in the Moss Covered Rock is a book. It is a very cute book, so if you have kids or if you are just young at heart, you should look it up and read it. It's about a spider who tries to trick the other animals in the forest into basically him stealing their food so he doesn't have to work hard. And then they get revenge on him. Or teach him a lesson. It's more teaching him a lesson. It's a very cute book. I highly recommend it. And the audiobook is good. We listened to it on audiobook when my kids were younger. And the audiobook, the reading of it is very good. Anyways, that's where this comes from. A Nancy in the Moss Covered Rock is the colorway. But it is a 1x1 rib, and I think it's around 90 stitches maybe. I can't quite remember. And then you just do your ribbing for a little while, and then stockinette stitch, and then you do your decreases. And it ends up being like a spiral kind of decrease. So it's a fairly rounded decreased brim, and it ends up, your decreases are kind of spiraled at the top. You can kind of see the decreases forming here a little bit. This way they only have to learn one direction of a decrease, then knit 2 together. So it is very beginner friendly. Yeah, and I think they're on size 8 or 9 needles. US 5.5 millimeter. Okie dokie. That's the hat. It's very soft. This is 100% merino. Superwash. Okay, so I need to finish this up so it can be a sample because we're just now beginning knitting. We actually did crochet first. I don't think I really need to talk about this one. Is the half and half triangles wrap. I haven't done a whole lot, I don't think, since last week. So I won't really talk about that. But it's by Purl Soho, and if you want more details, I will do a finished object one when it's done. And I do talk a little more details in the past couple of videos. And then this one, I also probably won't talk a huge amount about because I've talked about it in every video, but I did want to show you progress because I have made some. Last time I had finished one sleeve, in the body of course, and this time I've gotten this far in 1 week. That's pretty good, right? I think it's pretty good. So I have a sleeve and a half done. So half a sleeve left to go. That's not bad. Yay. This is the Cardi V-neck by Anne Vincel. And it is fingering weight with a kid mohair silk held together. So it's lightweight and knit at a fairly large gauge. Size 8 needles. So even though it's big and chunky, it goes by sort of quick. Alright, I think that's all of the knitting I have for you today. It feels short, but I think maybe that's because I haven't been waiting for months on end to film. I've been trying to do it weekly. And I think that my next video might be all of my Caitlin Hunter stuff. Because I think I have her on the brain, not only just because I've started taking out my sweaters for the fall, but I also am considering casting on another one of her sweaters. Because I think that my DK weight yarn in Dark and Stormy, which is this one, with the coffee and cream colorway, because this has a little bit of brown in it, and my matcha colorway, those would all work really well together in the Tecumseh sweater. And I am really into the big baggy, oversized, cozy knits right now. So I have her on the brain, so I think it would be fun to go through all of my sweaters. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me know if you guys want that. Anyways, happy knitting and happy fall. I hope that wherever you are, you're enjoying knitting and maybe some tea or coffee or whatever you like to drink. And I hope you guys get some good sweater weather. Bye.